Hi, it's Laura Kunitz. How are you today? I wanted to review this Manchester scarf swatch with you. I've been using it when I'm teaching at Jimmy Bean's Wool because it really is a good swatch pattern to really understand how the Showy Decrease works. This is what we're going to look at today. So first of all, you'll see that I have used the alternating long tail cast on. It switches knit and purl cast-ons with a long tail. We have a video on that on our YouTube channel, followed by some seed stitch, and it just gives a nice flexible edge. We're also going to be talking about this hatch stitch non-rolling edge in a minute. It is literally the #1 viewed post on the blog with almost, I don't remember, 20,000 views at this point. You can see here we have the right leaning knit two together and left leaning slip slip knit. They match perfectly and they are raised up. So the only difference between the Showy Decrease and a standard knit two together or slip slip knit is on the wrong side you will be slipping those stitches. So there it is right here. So this is the hatch edge. On this side it's just, center myself on the camera. We'll talk about that on the right side. We are going to knit across. The other reason I like this pattern is the eyelet is floating, so it forces you to kind of really look at the pattern. I am really not doing well knitting around the camera, I apologize. There's the yarn over. We'll have 2 stitches based in the pattern. And then I can see here this double stitch from the knit row, from the knit two together from the prior row. And just to verify, all I need to do is look over like this, and then I know. So we're going to continue across. When I get to this side, I will also note that it is time for the next slip, and I can see that right there. So I slip with yarn in front. The yarn is always on the wrong side, and knit. And I will keep going and we'll review the other side in 1 second. If you take a look at this swatch, you can see that the garter stitch edge has condensed the stocking net fabric, which is why I wanted an alternative non-rolling edge. Here is what I call the hatch edge. It will have 1 knit stitch on the end on right side and wrong side rows. That does not condense it. The hatch stitch is a slip 1, yarn over, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over the 2, and it creates that little hatch there. The trick to designing a non-rolling edge is this next stitch, a purl stitch that runs all the way down like a mini rib. What it does is it allows the edge to kind of fold into the rest of the stocking net fabric. You'll see you barely see it, but by setting into the edge, it prevents rolling. Now let's continue on and look at the Showy Decrease. I'm going to use the eyelet as an indication row to look and say, oh yes, there's 2 stitches before the Showy Decrease. Since I'm on this side, we're going to yarn over. Since I'm on the right side of the right side, I know this is going to be a slip slip knit. It's left leaning. So I will slip, slip, put them back on. Now notice when you're working this slip slip knit, the slip stitch is on the right side. It is the stitch that the needle goes into first. We're going to knit, and now on this side I can see, right, it's time for my knit two together. With a knit two together, the slip stitches are on the left side. It is also the first stitch that my needle goes into, and that's what causes it to sit up on front. Knit 2, yarn over, and we'll continue. And I'll show you the join next. Here we are back on the right side, and we are going to join these 2 showy lines into a nice beautiful point. So I have yarned over and knit 2. I do want to point out one thing. When I'm working the Showy Decrease, you want it to be long and not too tight. So when I get to the end of a line like this, I'll literally just give it a little tug, and I'll do it when I get over there in a second too. And what that does is you will literally feel the stitches elongate and snap in place sometimes. Now this is a left leaning line, so normally when you work a slip one, knit two together, pass stitch over, you slip purlwise. Because I want this to continue in the same line, we are going to slip knitwise. That's really the only difference between this double decrease and the standard. And then knit two together, pass this left leaning stitch over, tighten it up a little bit so that it's not too, so it is smooth on top. And then we'll knit two and yarn over. So there you can see that raised, the raised, perfectly matching, joined decreases. I just love them, I have to admit. Thanks for visiting.